Hello, everyone. This is your host, Akeel, and welcome back to another episode of SaaS District. In today's episode, we'll be talking about how to establish authority and build a loyal audience as a tech leader. Today, we have our guest, Dr. Yaniv Zaid, joining us. Dr. Yaniv Zaid is also known as Dr. Persuasion. He is a lawyer and economist, also a provider of business and media consulting to companies and organizations, and a requested and highly experienced lecturer on the topic of improvement on speaking, marketing, and persuasion abilities. He's also the number one best-selling author on Amazon with his latest book called The 21st Century Sales Bible, which we'll talk about today. And in 2003, if you guys didn't know, Dr. Zaid ranked number 3 in the worldwide list of public speakers. So super excited to have you on the show today, Winnie. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Akeel. I'm very happy to be here. I heard lots of your chapters of your podcast, and I enjoyed very much. So I'm honored to be here.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And, we're here, obviously here to speak, share your authority, share about your background and what you're good at, which is, a lot of things. But, what we're talking about today is, a lot of leaders, C-suite and above, are now considering becoming authorities in the space, especially when it comes to B2B, in which, oftentimes in the past it was, overlooked and maybe not given as much importance. But I'd love to hear from you. Besides, when it comes to selling, can you, I guess, maybe explain the connection between selling, having an audience, and then why building authority is important today as a leader?
Yeah, it's very important to be an expert, to be considered as an expert today in the industry, especially in the tech industry, because when you are an expert, few things happen. First of all, people pay you more. People are willing to pay you more. When we buy something, it's a brand, and we're willing to pay more than the same subject from different company. So people are willing to pay you more as a self-employed and also as an employee. Second of all, people will talk more about you. Viral marketing, they will talk more about you because they work with an expert, so they would like to share it with others. And thirdly, the people will argue with you less. They argue less because if you're considered as an expert and you tell them something and you are a professional authority or considered as a professional authority, then people will obey, will more likely obey. Now, today, it's very important to be an expert because there are lots of people who call themselves experts. Everyone can write on LinkedIn, on Facebook, I'm doing a very important role or a very important job, or I did that, or I did this. So there's many leaders out there and many knowledge out there. And it's very important to differentiate yourself from others and build the best version of yourself. And I think the game here is to influence on other people. You mentioned the connection between sales and performing in front of an audience. So for me, sales is also performing, also influencing in front of people. Usually it's one-on-one meetings, but also in the meetings with many people, also in front of an audience. I teach also how to sell in front of an audience. The best conversion rate will be when you are with many people, because people will see other people buy, then they are more likely to buy. So if you're a tech leader, would like to be a tech leader, you would like people to follow you, to obey you, then you would like to consider to be as an expert, and you would like them to, you like to know and to control your public speaking abilities and sales abilities and marketing abilities.
And would you say that, everybody should be, is this applicable to everybody, so that they should be, building an authority online, or do you think this is, for a specific few? Like, how would you decide who?
I think today in 2024, we have two identities, one offline and one online. But if you'd like to promote yourself, if you'd like to get better salary or better income, then you need to have both, improve your offline identity and your online identity. You can't not have LinkedIn account or Facebook account or TikTok account at all. It's okay not to be relevant and active in all of the platforms, but you need to have the platforms, you need to have identity there. People need to see you, to know you. If you write something, there is a principle, it's called social proof. If I talk about myself and I say about myself that I'm an expert and I'm very good at what I do, it doesn't sound objective. It sounds subjective because I'm talking about myself. So obviously I'm going to speak highly of myself. But if I will write down on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and I will show some evidence things I did, accomplishment, achievements, education, certificates, diplomas, testimonials of clients, etc., then people see it on my LinkedIn, on my Facebook, and they consider me as an expert. And the difference between someone just saying about himself that he's an expert or actual expert is the evidence. I can prove it. I can show you that I lectured in front of people. I can show you that I have big roles in big companies, that my clients are Fortune 500 companies, etc. So this is what makes me a leader. So I think it's very, very important to have the online identity, and you need to invest in it, and you need to show your knowledge there, and you need to educate your market that you are very good at what you do. I think it's essential today in 2024.
And that's the first piece you talk about, which is identifying what is actual expertise and what you've done and your actual track record. So people maybe who are looking to start building, maybe this is new for them or the early stages. So they have all this, maybe background expertise, but in different areas, but it's disorganized. What are some ways you can maybe share with them advice on how to get started on becoming an authority or influencer in the space?
First of all, to identify who they are, what their unique perspective is, what is their specific knowledge, what they can contribute to others. Because we are all great, everyone can be an expert, everyone has a unique voice, and we need to share our unique voice. We don't need to be others, there is only one like us, and we need to be the best version of ourselves. So first of all, the work begins inside to understand what I want to do, what I would like to accomplish, what are my perspective, unique perspective, etc. And then I need to gather people who would like to hear my knowledge. I need to identify my target audience, who I would like to talk to. If I would like to work in companies, which companies are suitable for my values and for my skills. If I would like to have employees, which employees would I like to hire in order to move them to action and to lead them. And you need to identify it. So it's much preparation. People don't like to prepare, let's start. But before you start, before you just put yourself on Facebook, on LinkedIn, online, offline, you need to prepare yourself, establish who you are, establish who your target audience is. And then you need to identify your messages. And preparation is the key. Preparation is the key because once I know where to go, then probably I will get there. And I would like to I maybe have a vision, long-term vision. Where do I want to be? Where do I want to go a few years from now? Okay, which job would I like to have in the tech industry? If people will know me as an expert, what should they know about me? Okay, expert in what? Because I can't be expert in everything. So after you identify it, start creating a good content in many platforms and start talking about it and start introducing yourself as this kind of an expert, and then people will follow and your community will grow.
Very nice. So, on one side you have, selling and building authority to new prospects or clients into the external world to, generate sales. And then maybe, there's a spot of, internally as a tech leader, you also have a team and you have shareholders and you have people you're always communicating with and you're trying to, build authority and trust so that people, take action on your message, right? So do you have any advice for maybe leaders maybe struggling with getting their message, more importantly, their vision, and then, behind that vision is, get some execution so that they can communicate it, the client, the team hears it, and then they actually act upon it?
Yeah, so first of all, I will say lead by example. Lead by example because 2024 people don't want to get, just orders. You should do it because I said so, because I'm your CEO or I'm your superior. So lead by example is you need to work hard, you need to be persistent, you need to walk the talk. If you expect people something, that you need to follow your own expectations and you need to act accordingly. Lead by example is very important. Second of all, we mentioned social proof before. People follow authority. So for example, if you have an experience, let your employees know about your experience. So if there is now a meeting, and I would like to share them, to let them do something, okay? And I tell them, 2007, when I worked with, on Google, and we did a project like this, and I also led the team, and I can tell you that we had a failure there, but we fixed it, blah, blah, blah. So I talk about the case, but actually what I mentioned is already, 2007, I had lots of experience, and I've been doing it for 20 years, and I worked in Google. So actually, I show them many evidence that I'm very good. Now, social proof is at the subconscious level. It's not at the conscious level. I'm now bringing it to the conscious level, but actually, I'm talking about myself. So when I say, for example, I have 20 years experience, what do I actually say? I say that I'm very good at what I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it for 20 years. I say that I love what I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it for 20 years. I say that people love me and they respect me, because otherwise they won't give me the promotion. I say that I already failed elsewhere, so this is why I know what to do now. Okay, so all these things I didn't say directly. I didn't say, well, look, guys, I'm very good at what I do. I'm an expert. You should listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. You don't know shit. Okay, I'm not talking like this. I'm just telling them stories, and by the stories, it's like soft sale. I convince them, I persuade them by letting them know how good am I without actually saying this.
So you're going back and you're referencing times in life where you faced similar situations. So now you're coming back and trying to show them that we're able to do this because I've done this in the past. So by that, you're now building your trust.
This is one example of social proof. Yeah. Other examples are testimonials. You can show them what clients talked about you, okay, or talked about your projects. You can. Another example is certificates. Formal certificates. I studied this, so the reason I know it because I did a course last summer, a 2 weeks course about import expert, or about this code, or about this software. So I know. I'm not saying I know better than you, but I'm mentioning that I did a course. By the way, every expert is also a student. So if I tell them I also learn all the time, I also keep updating myself, okay? Then also it's leading by example. So you're actually saying to them, I don't know everything. I don't know everything. I learn all the time. I all the time trying to be a better version of myself. So this is what I expect from you. And another tool, if you would like people to listen to you, is personal attention. Personal attention is listening to people. Part of leading by example is also listening to people, hearing them out, not just a meeting where I throw orders, and people are supposed to obey, or I do all the talking. It's a conversation. Listen to people, even if you already have the decision, okay? Or you already know what they're planning to do. Listen to them, respect them, treat them as if they are very important. Be not conservative. Try to change your mind occasionally according to what they say, and then they will respect you.
Open-minded. On one. So we talk about establishing expertise. So now it's okay. I'm an authority. I'm an expertise, and now I am. But it's just me and myself. I know I have all this knowledge. I've had this background. I've had this experience. I've done all these accomplishments. But now it's we're talking about how to actually influence people and get people to take action. I guess that's the point of sharing this knowledge with others, is you want them to be aware of this problem, and hopefully they're like, hey, I identify with this problem, and maybe you have a solution that we can work on together because this bothers me as well. But there's also a lot of noise, and there's a lot of billions of dollars spent in this world trying to capture everybody's attention right now, especially on all these different social media platforms. So how do you, what are some maybe strategies or tips that you can suggest for people to, reduce their distractions and then, remain focused and stand out from their environment?
Well, first of all, we mentioned already preparation. If you prepare yourself for conversation or for meetings, then you can be very focused on what people want and what people are willing to listen. And the second thing we mentioned is to create a good content. If you create a good content, if I say about myself that I'm an expert of sales, for example, or some specific software, then I need to create a lot of content about sales, good content, to address, actual events and talking about the perspective, the sales perspective, to share stories, failure stories, success stories, my client stories, etc. To behind the scenes stories, because people love it, to share practical tips about sales. And then I start creating a community and growing the community, because people share the information. And in 2024, it's very easy to share the information on social media and other platforms. So if I create good content, posts and videos and newsletters and articles, professional articles and lectures, even inside the company, if I'm self-employed, if I'm an employee and I would like to be a manager or to be a better manager, then make a lecture about your knowledge. If you lecture, then immediately you'll become an expert. What's the difference between an expert and not an expert? It's 10 centimeters. What is 10 centimeters? The stage, the height of the stage. Now it's metaphorically speaking. You don't need actual stage, but when you talk to people and you provide lecture about a specific topic, immediately they consider you as an expert. Okay, so when there is lots of noise and lots of knowledge, people are looking for the right knowledge. People are looking for the experts, because there are lots of garbage online, but also lots of good content. And if you are persistent and consistent with much content over again and again and again, and use as many platforms as you can, then you create your own community and people will follow you and they will ask you for the professional questions.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, when it comes to content creation, there's, different ways to kind of stand out, different formats as well, right? You mentioned a few, written newsletters, blogs, content, video, and then speaking. Podcasts, like
books, ebooks, books.
Exactly. You have them all, right? Amazon, you publish there. You give talks in, your background you have there in Tel Aviv. But if there's one skill, maybe, so there's a lot, maybe communication hasn't been part of the CEO strategy. They've been very focused internally, but now they're looking to, get out and establish influence. What we talked about. If there's one skill that you would recommend that, every leader invest in, or at least start with to help it enhance their communication, what would that be? Would it be, their written skills, their speaking skills? What would
I will surprise you. I will say listening skills, because if you are in sales and marketing, and if you're a manager, you like to talk. Okay, I like to talk. You like to talk. We make our living from talking. But I say against your instinct, you need to listen more. If I would like to be good in sales, I need to listen to my clients. I need to understand their problems before I sell them the solution. Okay, I call it sell the problem before the solution. Also, I speak about it in my lectures and workshops in my books. So identify the problems, and then you can come with the solution, or identify the needs, and then you can come with the answer, or identify the pains, and then you can come with the cure. So listen to people, listen to your employees, listen to your clients. Okay, listen to your vendors. Listen to your colleagues, listen to your employees, and listen what they have to say, what they really have to say, and then you can be a better salesperson, a better manager. So this is a skill you need to develop, because people who has naturally this skill, like listening, usually they are psychologists, psychiatrists, mediators, they are not going to sales and marketing and management. Okay, but if you are entrepreneurs or managers or salesperson or marketing persons, obviously you need to speak all day. But again, in a meeting, I learned by the way, sometimes on the hard way that if people are paying me for consulting, for example, I have 1 hour consulting, then when I was 20 years ago, I said to myself, wow, they're paying me lots of money for the consulting, so I need to give them lots of information. So let's talk fast and let's provide lots of information in this hour. And I realized that the more the client speaks, the better he's more satisfied, he's more satisfied. So I will talk only 20 minutes, and 40 minutes they will speak and they will describe the problems, and then I will give them the solution, and they are happy, even though I talk only 20 minutes out of the hour. So again, listen more and talk less, and when you talk, adapt your messages according to your target audiences and according to the problems.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was listening to I read this post recently how Tony Robbins has all these super successful CEOs around the world who have him on retainer, paying him millions of dollars. Whenever they need, they can give him a call. It's not that they're less successful. Tony is probably less successful than them, but the having that person that you can call and just listen, and even if they give you one or two advices, like they're able to just organize your mind and help you get back grounded and give you just exactly what you need. I mean, that's super invaluable, because you make one wrong mistake as CEO, that costs you millions of dollars, right? So,
and every expert is also a student, and we all need experts, and we all experts in our life. If I go to a restaurant, my vision or my perspective on experts is very wide, because if I'm going to a restaurant, for example, and I don't have much time, and I go to the waitress comes, and I ask her immediately, what do you recommend, right? So let's talk about it for a minute. She represents the restaurant, not me. So obviously she is going to speak about the dishes that the restaurant would like me to buy, or maybe the more expensive dishes, or the dishes that are expiring in two days from now. and I don't know her, and maybe I'm 46 years old, so maybe I go to a 21 years old waitress and I asked her immediately, let's decide, you decide for me what do I enter into my body, okay? So why do I do all these irrational things? Because in this restaurant, she's the expert, and I don't have much time and I don't know what to order, so I'm going to the expert by definition, by default, and then she will tell me, and this is what people choose. People choose experts all the time, in the movie, in the restaurant, in the airport, everywhere. Now, there are people that can say, no, I don't want to consult with everyone, with anyone. I know everything, so I will decide. So they look at the menu and they decide a dish. Okay, now it comes in 20 minutes. Now it's a go, no go, because either it's delicious to you or it's not. But if it's not, then you are screwed. You can't give it back, and you already paid money for it, and you don't have time to order another one. So most people decide or they choose automatically experts. So if you're considered as an expert, people will address you, people will follow you, people will pay you more, people will ask you. And another advantage of consulting to others is that you think objectively about it. You don't, you're not emotionally involved, so you think about objectively, so it's it's easier for you to give advice. Maybe when you are nervous or when you are under pressure, then you need someone objective to tell you advice, okay? So this is a long-term relationship with others.
One thing, part of your example that, comes to mind and often here is a fear of, giving not wrong advice, but the advice that, doesn't end up being positive, right? So in your case, if you go to this, bartender and you're like, hey, I picked this dish for me, and then they give it to you, you look at them with authority and it ends up being, terrible. Now you've lost kind of confidence as them, and like in that case, it's a small scenario, but it could be similar and in a bigger case, obviously, and more. So both as the person asking and then also the person giving the advice, even if they have a lot of knowledge, but they may not be able to really understand, like you said, understand that person to give the right advice for them, and that's where I think it's the hardest part, right?
Yeah. So it's a great example. I will address it first of all. You need to be authentic and you need to be honest with people. If you don't know the answer, don't just give an answer because people ask you. You can say, I will check. The waitress, I will check with the kitchen what is good. Okay, so it's okay not to know everything. It's okay to look and find out the answer and go back to the client or something like that. And second of all, my basic assumption is that you and I and everyone listening to us are good at what they do. Okay, that people don't say I'm an expert if they are not an expert. Okay, and if for example the dishes are bad, so you can have at the restaurant the best salesperson ever, but if the dishes are bad, then they will say it. They will sell it once, and then I won't love it, and I won't come back to the restaurant again. So a good company, a good software company, tech company everywhere is a combination between a good product and good sales and marketing, okay? Because if it's just good product and you don't know how to sell it, then, it remains on the shelf and nobody will buy it. Also, a good person who doesn't know how to interview, in a job interview, then nobody will hire them. But if you have a lousy product and very good sales, you can't maintain it for a long-term relationship. And I'm talking only about long-term relationship. In a long-term relationship, you need to be an expert. You need to be good at what you do. You need to be honest with your clients. You don't need to know everything. I always say, be Batman and not Superman, because what's the difference? Because they are both, Batman and Superman, they are both superheroes and they both look like human beings, right? But Batman is actually a human being and Superman was born in a different planet. So if Superman will have a workshop, how to fly, okay? And I sit in the first row and I write everything. And they will explain to me, go to the roof, check the weather, check the wind, make the first step. And I will do everything he says. I will still fall from the roof because I'm just a human being. But Batman is an ordinary person who developed not ordinary, a unique skills, So if Batman says to you, well, I'm like you, I was once like you, I even have a war story because my parents were killed when I was young, etc. And then I developed the skills to fly and I teach myself and I taught myself, so I'm going to teach you now. Then I have more identification with him. I would, be aware of what he says. I would like to follow him. I would like to learn from him. So you don't think, if you are C-level managers in tech, you don't need to be superheroes. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to know everything. Just you need to be humans who are trying to get better all the time. and they have failures and successes, and teach the others, and then people will follow you.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the last part I want to speak about is a little bit maybe more about your book, 21st Century Sales Bible. If you can speak, so you have the 10 kind of main principles in you call them the 10 commandments in the book, which I love. I love the analogy. Maybe you can share a little bit. You don't have to share everything, but just for people to give a little brief preview of what to expect from learning from that.
Well, the book, first of all, it's a bestseller book. I sell it worldwide, including United States and Russia and China and India and the Philippines and Vietnam and more countries. My biggest professional achievement is that I sold the same book, the rights of this book, to both to United States and China and Russia and India, 4 superpowers, with very different mentalities. And they all like the book. They all, every publishing house makes the adjustments, but little adjustments for the target audience, but the same book for all of them. And as I mentioned in the earlier speaking, our conversation is that people are people everywhere. And when I deliver workshops, sales workshops or marketing workshops or public speaking workshops worldwide, the same workshops, in Vietnam, in New York, and in Tel Aviv, for example, the same workshop, people will ask me the same questions. They have the same problems, same issues of business owners, etc. So the book, the 21st Century Sales Bible, is now in stores in the United States and also on Amazon. It's combines of a combination of 10 chapters, 10 commandments, how to improve your income, how to increase your income, how to build your professional authority, how to create a community and grow your community, how to deliver a speech, and how to become the best business person you can be. It's both for salaried employees and also for self-employed. It's both for high-tech and low-tech. I provide hundreds of examples and case studies and stories. Very, very interesting. And 10 chapters, and each chapter is combined with lots of sub-chapters with many, many stories. So, a very practical book. You will love the book. And also short stories that you can read each day, 2-3 pages before you get to sleep, and learn something, and have a closure and learn, and to next day we'll learn something else.
I love it. We'll also include the link in our show notes. So guys, make sure to check that out. That sounds awesome.
Great.
Yeah, I appreciate that. The last question I have is around using tools and content creation, which a lot of people are now, thinking and getting this space. It's funny, interesting. In 2024, you're seeing a lot more people, podcasts, people, setting authority. I'm just noticing the B2B space, but we also have AI, right? So AI, deep tech, a lot of interesting things happening in that world. Is there anything you're currently using, or you suggest to anybody, employee or entrepreneur, content creation, or any part of this process to help you, help build this authority?
Yes, I will tell you first of all my personal perspective about AI. I know that it exists, and I use it sometimes, and I know many people use it. I say 2 things. First of all, for me personally, I am very creative, and I enjoy my work, and I all the time meet new people and have new topics to write about. And I write myself. I almost don't use AI, not ChatGPT or Bard or extra, etc. But because you have all the time new knowledge and new perspective and new ideas from clients and vendors and people you meet with. So I write all the time, books and content, and posts. I have on my website. I write a blog, etc. But I will tell you what, and there is an advantage and disadvantage with AI in my perspective. The advantage is that if you don't have any ideas, then AI can help you. If you would like to write about something, you don't have enough knowledge or enough ideas, then you can ask AI. You need to know how to work with ChatGPT or Bard, etc., and they will provide you ideas, and then you can take it from there. Okay. So if you have, let's say a block, your mind is blocked, and you don't know what to write, and you need to write something to your community, or you don't know how to start an idea, then AI can help you. This is the advantage. The disadvantage is after they give you the information, you still, from in my eyes at least, there is lack of the secret ingredient, the human aspect. So if I can identify today an article that was written by a person and an article that was written by AI. So AI is not enough. Okay, so people are relying just AI, that I will say exactly what I wanted to write about, and they will provide an article. It's not good enough. You need to have the secret ingredient, the human research, your perspective, your humor, your background, your specific words, and then people can identify. And we mentioned earlier that the fact that you need to differentiate yourself from others, in a world that there is lots of content. So the way to differentiate yourself is write yourself and talk about it yourself and have your own, unique ideas and share it with everyone. Because, people today, they have a bullshit radar or a fake radar. So they know when you are just quoting others or you're trying to be others and when you are an authentic version of yourself and you have actually your own unique language. So most experts I know, they almost don't use AI, okay? And if they use it just for the beginning of the process and they take it from there.
That makes sense. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, you notice that in most, copy nowadays, most of it, at the beginning, I think it was powerful, but I think it's going to get, harder and harder to be able to differentiate. So yeah, I agree. This has been great. I really enjoyed this, Dr. Yaniv. Would love to kind of shift gears. Kind of the last part of the episode is more about the rapid fire, quick question, personal questions. You ready for those?
Okay, great.
Yeah. So outside of work, so I imagine there's a lot of communications involved. What's one activity you enjoy outside of work that gets you into a flow state?
I run a lot and walk a lot, at least 3-4 times a week. So when I walk for a long distance or when I run for half an hour, I have my creative thinking. It's my moments for myself, and it's good for the body, good for the mind. I always recommend the sporting activity. Also helps you in sales, by the way, because you're more energetic and you have more common ground with your clients. You can talk to your clients about the sporting activity. It's also a social proof because people are more connected to people who enjoy sporting activity. So I recommend it, highly recommend it.
Love it. I agree. So you have over decades of experience here. But if you can go back and if you had one piece of advice you wish you had known, you would tell let's say your 25-year-old self, what would you say to them?
So first of all, I'm married for the second time, so probably I will tell my my younger self, meet this wife first, but but I will say to myself, enjoy the road, enjoy the way, enjoy the path, because we're talking about long-term relationship, and on life you have failures and you have success, and it's all part of the journey. So trust the process. Don't rely just on your results. Not everything is results in life. Follow the way, trust the process, and the results will come. So if you just run for results, run for track records, sometimes you miss the fun during it, or you make lots of more mistakes. So enjoy the mistakes, enjoy the failures, enjoy the success, and it's all part of your journey.
Easier said than done, right? A lot of people to focus too much on the success side that they get caught up in the failure. So makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta learn to enjoy it too. What are some of the biggest challenges you're currently facing in order to continue to grow, your business and continue to build your authority in the space?
Well, I try to stay relevant all the time, So I think the biggest challenge, not just for me, for every company exists decades, or for every mentor who exists decades, is to stay relevant and to turn to more audiences and more people will follow him, and to be in more platforms. For example, I'm 46 years old, and for myself, I don't use TikTok or use Instagram, but I am on TikTok and Instagram as Yaniv Zaid, because then I share good content, because I realize that many of my clients are there, and younger clients are there, and the younger people, and managers and CEO of tech companies are there. So you need to adapt yourself all the time. You need to create yourself over and over and again. There is a good let's say, good thought and bad thought. The bad thought is that you always need to market yourself. You never, if you stop marketing yourself, then people will start forgetting about you, and into this vacuum, more your competitors will come. But the good result is that there is a way to do it. There is a formula. So if you do it again and again and again, you create yourself all the time, and then you grow your community and you get new clients. So the biggest achievement or the biggest challenge is to stay relevant over the years and to get more people to know you, even if they are 20 years younger than you.
Love it. Makes absolute sense. Who or what would you say are some of the best 3 resources? This can be books or other mentors or people you follow in the space who you'd say have been most instrumental to your success over these last few years?
Well, I don't have just one because I learned from many, many mentors and I learned from many professionals like politicians, like stand-upists, like, lecturers, like, CEOs. And I can name few, for example, Jerry Seinfeld, the stand-upist, Brandon Bouchard or Av Aker, the mentors, Gary Vaynerchuk, the social media guy, even politicians like Trump or Obama. I learned many, many things from them, what to do, what not to do. It doesn't matter what my opinion is, but I look at people who talk in front of people. I look at people who lead other people. I look at people who succeed in their life. And I ask myself, what do I want to learn from them, what to do or not, and not what to do. So I don't have one mentor who I follow, for decades, but I all the time, we mentioned every expert is also a student, is first a student. So I try to be, all the time a student and to learn from others and to get inspired by many, many people.
Love it. So we talked about a little bit, failure and success, but I'd love to hear what's your definition? What does success mean to you today? Whether that's personally, business, financial, life. There's no right answer.
I will say that today, success for me is have quality moments with my kids and my wife, and to enjoy life and to live by my values. That I have values and I would like to live by them. I don't want to walk with people that don't share the same values like I am. There is a great sentence that I like to use that I would for client that I want you as a client, but I don't need you as a client. Okay, meaning that I don't need to work with everyone today. So I have if there is a client I don't feel like working with, I will happily move it to add to my to other people in the market. And for example, if I don't like to have certain partners, certain calling, I won't work for them. So we really need to work with anyone you don't want. So for me, a success is that you create your own life, you choose your life, you choose who you're going to be with, and you enjoy life. And when you go to sleep at night, you know that you lived by your values and you did everything you could. So you enjoy with the results.
Love it. That's also a beautiful part of being an entrepreneur, right? You can pick and choose who you work with. So yeah, that's absolutely great. Love it. This has been great, Dr. Zaid. Would love to, wrap this up and hear, any final thoughts you want to share, and then where can founders and anybody listening in get in touch with you, learn more about you, what you do, as well as check out your book.
Yeah, so everyone who would like to be a C-level leader in tech, just put yourself at the front, in front of audience, in front of people, and use as many platforms as possible to share your information, share your knowledge, your good content. If you'd like to follow me, I have many more articles to show you in my website, drpersuasion.com, drpersuasion.com. And also you can send me an email, Yaniv@yanivzaid.com, YANIV@YANIVZAID.com. I will answer any question you may have. And also check my website and my book, the 21st Century Sales Bible, on bookstores, on Amazon, across North America. And I will be happy to answer any question you may have and be in touch and provide more knowledge. If you like this 40 minutes, then you probably enjoy my other videos and books and lectures.
Absolutely. Love it. It's awesome. And make sure to put all those links in our show notes. Make sure you guys check it out. And thanks again. I really appreciate this and enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Akeel, and very, very happy to be, very honored to be on your podcast. Thanks.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you all for watching this episode and joining SaaS District today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for future episodes where we interview top leaders in the SaaS industry. If you're a SaaS company looking to grow and unlock the true value of your business, get in touch with us at Horizon Capital, and myself or one of our consultants will provide a free assessment to help you get there and hit your goals. If you have any feedback or suggestions for this podcast, please comment down below and help us improve our content for you all. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.